Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Coach Kellie Speaks Talk Show. As I do every single week, I talk about something that happened in my week that was inspiring, different, or it was maybe not so good. I'm a very transparent person, so I talk about things that I like, some things that happened to me that I may not like as much. And so on yesterday, I went to New York for Fashion Week as something that I do each and every week anyway. I do every year because I am a beauty and I have a beauty firm as well as women clothing line. I started back in 2007 and now I opened my fourth location up in 2015. And so I love fashion, all things beautiful. And so on yesterday, just seeing all of the great fashion that's been just out there. And on yesterday, I decided instead of driving up, I would take the bus. And, it was amazing to me because, like, it was very awful. Like, the entire experience was just awful. Like, I sat next to someone who was beyond stinky. And, it was just crazy. And the people behind me, they talked the whole time. I mean, it was just it was awful. It was a very painful experience. But when I got there, it was amazing. I met with some exciting designers. So everything outside of that was really, really challenging for me. And so I'm laughing because sometimes on the road to get to places, it's not so favorable. It's not so exciting. But once you get there, you do what it is that you have to do. It's very exciting. And you get a chance to take care of some business. And so today, that's what I'm going to be talking about. I'm talking about the journey of a successful leader. Many of you know I have different and various coaching programs as well where I talk about leadership and things that leaders go through, being a leader at my church, being a leader in my community. It's very challenging because everybody is not going to understand your journey. Everyone is not going to understand your processes. Everyone is not going to understand you're crazy. That's what I call it. Like, someone may say, I think that it's crazy to, dissolve your whole savings and start a business. That was one of the things that I did. And I literally went into my business with all of the money that I had in my account. And I literally my sales doubled, and it's just amazing to me. My first location that I got, it was really hard because it was something that I wasn't so pressed for. It was like one of those things where I just kind of like rolled the dice and not knowing whether or not he was going to make it. And so my assistant at the time, she told me that she saw this great place and she was like, I think it'll be a perfect location for you. But what she didn't know is that I knew personally that my credit wasn't all that good. So I was like, I don't know if it's going to work out. So I kind of rolled the dice and I had her to do my application. Long story short, I ended up getting the location. I wasn't answering my phone because at that time, of course, like I said, my credit wasn't the best. So I had different people calling me and I would send them the voicemail. So any unknown number, I wasn't really answering. It was really funny because I kept sending the lady the voicemail until one day she decided she left me a message and she says, I'm calling you, to let you know that you was approved for this location. And she says, I know you told me everything that you was kind of going through or whatever, but it was something about when I talked to you, I decided to go ahead and give you a try. And so it's amazing to me that all of the things that you think that will slow you down in your process, all of the things that you think that will it may not work out for you, could be the very thing that you should go and do. So basically, I went to Fashion Week on yesterday, met with different designers, and the first time that I went and sat down and began to do like negotiations and things, I would just go and I was just so excited to be somewhere that I would allow the excitement to overtake me emotionally. And so I wouldn't carry myself, or I wouldn't negotiate the way I know how to now. And so when you are a leader and you're an active leader, it's very important to know your stuff. Make sure that you do your research, making sure that you have a vision in front of you. At the studio, I bought my own personal vision board because I believe that a vision board is a forecast of things to come. Now, it's great to have a list of goals. It's great to have a plan of action, but it's to take it a step further, starting and developing a vision board, which I would call a dream forecast. Is I have pictures and things on my wall. At one point, I would just stick a whole bunch of stuff on the wall, but I got a little more creative, and I started doing it on a canvas. And so on my canvas, I have different things, inspiring things that inspire me. Things like pictures of houses that I want to live in. The house that I live in currently was on my vision board when I was 24. Well, no, 23. 23 years old. And at the end of the year of me turning 23 years old, I was able to get that exact house. So I know for a fact that vision boards work. They work when you work them. A lot of times people start vision boards and they walk away. They never really pursue the things that are on there. And so what I do is every single year I'll come up with a new vision board, because I believe that you have more of what you see in front of you, and you experience those things that you talk about. And I believe that as a man thinketh, so he goes. And so every single thing that I've ever accomplished was on the vision board. I mean, everything, up until just me having my kids, the way, I describe my body, I would even put my shape on my vision board. When I was pregnant, I would say things like, I won't ever have stretch marks, like just total vanity, I know, to somebody else, but it worked for me. And so just maintaining the size that I am, and just little stuff that most people don't even think to put on their vision, or they would not even think to pray for or believe for. Those are the things that I pray for. If I'm going somewhere, I'll pray that I have a good parking space. Like, it just random stuff, that whatever it is that I specifically want for myself, I really put it on my vision board. I put it on my list. I have a high achievers playbook that I write all of my dreams and aspirations on. And it's amazing to me how it could be September and I'll write it down. I'll set myself to do it in 2 years, and then turn around, I'll end up with a favor, and it'll happen to me by the end of the year. So you never know, like, what is going to happen from day to day. So you wake up with this spirit of expectation that today is the day, today is the day, today is the it day, today is the day that I'm ready, set to go, and going into the next level. When you go each day with the anticipation and the appetite for success, you begin to attract things to yourself that you wouldn't before. So when I was homeless at the age of 18, I had this concept in my head already. Like, I knew that situation that my family and I was in, it was a temporary situation. So I really never ever allow myself to really take on the whole painful experience, because I knew that it was only a matter of time that everything was going to work out. And so that mindset is called EI, which is emotional intelligence. The average millionaire has a higher emotional intelligence IQ than the actual IQ. You don't have to be a genius to be successful. You don't have to be college educated to be successful. You only have to have really the mindset of success. The mindset of success, and the eye, like they say, you have to have the eye of the tiger. You have to have a certain heart and mind, so that you won't allow yourself to be swayed by the left or the right. So, prime example, I know friends that are actual millionaires, and they never went to college. Matter of fact, a lot of them just have their GED, but because they came up with concept and ideas that was authentic to who they were, they worked on it diligently. That's just like if I give you a gift. If I wrap you a gift it's your birthday, it's Christmas, and I buy you a gift, and then I come back and I try to take the gift from you, you're not going to just give it back freely. You're going to resist it. You're going to say, no, this is a gift that you gave to me, so why would you take it back? Same thing with the gifts that God gives us. He gives us gifts such as singing, acting. He gives us gifts of, administration. He gives us gifts of, just all kinds of gifts of business. And, he gives us all of these different gifts, and when somebody comes up to you to take a gift that somebody gave to you, you have to fight. And it's really, how bad are you going to hold on to the very thing that you believe was a gift? Because sat down with different people that I have coached, and, I'll go back and we'll do like these monthly check-ins. And I'm like, well, hey, the beginning of the year, you said you wanted to write a book. And then, fast forward, 6 months from now, you haven't even begun writing. But yet and still, you said that you believed that it was something that you wanted to do, or you started going back to college or went to school or whatever it is that you said, and then the winds and the wave come, and now you just let it blow just like the wind. You have to be very consistent and be very diligent about what it is that you need to do. Be focused. And so one of the things, and I have some C's to I think it's maybe like 7 C's to successful leadership. Now, leaders are readers. That's one thing that I always point out, that being a successful person, I read at least 30 books a year. And that may be like every 2 weeks, I'm picking up a new book. I'm picking up a blog. I'm picking up a vlog, something that is going to inspire me to greatness. Right now, I've been real heavy into the whole social media, marketing concepts, different books that I've been reading, understanding, how to market to your niche, understanding who they are that you are called to, who your assignments are, understanding that, each group of people, whether it's millennials or baby boomers, understanding what target marketing is, understanding how to monetize everything that you do. Like today, like if I take a picture, like you better guarantee that I'm going to post about something, whether it's my hair, my outfit, which comes straight from my boutique. Every time I leave out of my house, I'm a direct representation of Successful Looks, which is a company that I started back in 2007. So January was my 10th year anniversary of being in the fashion industry, which I'm so excited and proud of, because most entrepreneurs, they only succeed in business for 24 months. That's what statistics says. And so to stand here as an entrepreneur for the last 18 years full time is almost a miracle, because I see it every day. People come to me like, I don't know how you still do it. Well, the way I still do it, the reason why I'm still a successful entrepreneur is because I'm creative. Creativity is the precipice of your business. Like, you have to have creativity. I see a lot of people kind of trying to mimic what other people are doing. I don't think that is a really great idea. I think that you should gauge and you should kind of, use other people who share in your industry space as inspiration. But I don't believe that you should literally like do every single thing that they do, because that's really stealing, plagiarism, I guess, whatever. And so you want to be very mindful that you going in, like I always say, I do these self check-ins, I do these fastings. I won't get on Facebook for 40 days, like I'll fast from social media. I won't turn on my TV. I practice discipline, and the reason why I practice discipline is because this discipline is all about your emotions. And in order to master your emotions, the way you react to stuff, the way you carry stuff is in your emotions. And that's why so many people aren't successful. They'll never see 6 figures, let alone they'll never see millions, because they're so emotional and they give up every time something goes wrong. They, sever relationships because someone disagreed with them. Those are the reasons why a lot of people aren't succeeding. And this is the reason why so many people are able to succeed. I believe that denial does not, I believe that delay does not mean denial. Denial is when you When I don't know if you ever apply for something, they'll say deny. Well, just because something is delayed doesn't mean that it's denied. Just because something is not working in your time doesn't mean that it's not going to come on time. So be very careful, making sure that your creativity matches your commitment, because I've seen some very talented people not make it, and I've seen people who may not even have the same level of creativity or talent like do way better. Like I could listen to the radio and tell you that like there's some MCs out here that I've seen them in the underground, and they could rap circles and spit circles against some of the people that's on the radio, but because the people on the radio was connected, they had the right connections, or they had consistency, commitment, they had the courage to get a lot of no's, and then until they got to their yes. And so one of the people that I look up to right now in the industry is Cardi B. I never was a fan of her at all. And quite frankly, I see she's doing very well right now. And I know that a lot of it is because she just stayed connected. She used her own creativity and she was patient. And I think everybody has a time frame for when it's their turn, but I believe that everybody is gonna get your turn. So you ain't gotta sacrifice somebody else for your own cause. And I see that a lot in society, that because you lack creativity, then you operate in scarcity, which means that because I operate in scarcity, I believe that there's not enough money. So that means I'm going to sacrifice you for my own personal agenda. I'm willing to do any and everything to be successful. So that means that I'm going to steal your customers. I'm going to steal your song. I'm going to go into your website, and I'm going to go and plagiarize all your stuff so that I can get ahead and take the elevator versus trying to take the steps. The steps is dope. I know that it seems like it'll take you forever to get there, but honestly, it really doesn't take a long time. Like I said, I've been an entrepreneur for the last 18 years. Yes, it has been very challenging. To see six figures took a very long time, but once I made my first six figures, it was very easy to project the next one, and then the next one, and the next one, and the next one after that. And so making sure that you have creativity. Number 2, the second C is connection. Making sure that you are able to connect. The ability to have influence is your ability to have the right connections. Making sure that you are connected to some source, some amazing, making sure you have connection to your staff. Like, you cannot run an organization if you're not connected to your staff. Like, because people will not stay with you if they feel like you're the Lord over them. They want to feel like they are a part of it. So that's the part of having a right connection with your staff. If your journey is to have a following, making sure that you're connected to your social media, making sure that you are interacting with your followers, making sure that you're interacting with understanding what is your niche. Because for so long, when social media first came out, it was very hard for me. Like, I didn't know like what social platform was right for me. And so it was great that I learned about hashtags, because hashtag is like Google. So what I did was I developed some hashtags that I always use on every last one of my posts, and that way I was connected. So I'm going to always post DMV Boutique because that's who I am. I'm always going to put talk show host because that's who I am. I'm going to, hashtag Coach Kellie because that's who I am. Making sure that my content is all in line. So if I'm a person who's promoting a book, if a positive book, I'm not going to repost something shady from the shade room on my page because I'm about empowerment. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So making sure that you stay connected to your original plan of action, making sure that you're actively engaging in your community. And that's what connection is about. Understanding to go to events, go into trade shows, go into things that's connected to your industry. I see it all the time. People will go to networking events and won't have a business card. Like, a lot of times I'll go up to anybody. I've never met a stranger. Most of the time, I know how to make connections with people. And I read a book called, I believe it was the 9 Steps to what was it? How? No, no, no. It was How to Win Friends and Influential People, by Stephen Covey. The book basically is talking about how to make connections to influential people. So, like, say for instance, it's someone that I want to connect myself with. What I'll do is the first thing is understand who they are. Do the research. Prime example. One of my relatives had this amazing opportunity to get an internship at Sony. Went to New York, was excited about it. Went to New York, went on an interview, and the interviewer asked this person, would tell us who our artists are. How do you feel? What could you bring to Sony? And the person didn't know any of the artists. They didn't know any of the background history about the company. But they just went to the interview anyway because it sounded like it was a dope idea. So when you on your way somewhere, you know that you're getting ready to meet somebody, do the research. Go on their IG page. See what's going on. See what's popping off on their page so that you can have some way to make a connection. Because people will work with you because of your connections. People will work with you because they see that you are able to build a rapport with people. It's more based on... It's really a lot of people say it all the time. When it's based on who, not so much what you know, but it's really important about who you know. And so it's about not just knowing who you know, but also being able to connect when you get around those type of people. You don't want to go around a millionaire talking about Kool-Aid stuff. Understand the mindset of an entrepreneur. Understand the mindset of your CEO before you go to an interview. Okay, so that's all about connections. The third one is commitment. Having a committed heart to whatever it is that you say that you're going to do. And if you're not willing to commit, don't get started, and don't go into this idea that it just ain't work for me and I tried that. And those are the key words for me to let me know you're not committed. Because a committed person to say, well, you know what, I was on my way and I got a flat tire. Now there's a group of people who will stop at a flat tire, right? Then you have a group of people that they'll leave their car, park their car, put the club on their steering wheel, and they'll say, I'll deal with it later, and they'll get in an Uber. Then there's a group of people that they're not willing to do that. There's a group of people that's willing to walk. But you have to define your level of commitment no matter what it is that you're doing. So starting stuff and just leaving abandoned projects all over the place. And I talk about that in my 30-day visionary journal. That is millions of people who start January 1st. They start resolutions that they know that they're never going to ever finish. Like, oh yeah, I'm getting ready to go and I'm going to write a book. And they'll write one chapter and talk about it for years. Like, yeah, I'm writing a book. Well, what chapter are you on? I'm still on the first chapter. It's been 5 years later. No, you're not really writing a book. You just want something to talk about. So it's about having the evidence. It's about being committed to finishing it out and doing whatever it is that you have to do to finish it out. So every 3 months, I look at my vision board again and say, okay, what have I done to accomplish these different goals? So, okay, I want this house, my dream house that I want. I want to have it built. I want it new. I want to make sure that I have all of the things that I want in it. So I have to ask myself, what is it that I'm doing? What is my projection? Am I still on track with my savings? Because the house that I want to buy it. So I want to at least have 50% of the total amount of the house. I don't want to go in with no money down, get a house and pay it for 30 years. That's not my ideal of building my dream house. My ideal is that I at least can put a 50% down deposit on my house, and when it's finished, I can actually buy the house. That's the way I want to do it. So I have to think about, what am I doing? And then making sure that making sure that I have the consistency that's required so that I can make each goal happen. And so not only is my vision board filled with tangible things, there are some things that's on my vision board that's not tangible, such as just spending time with my family. So for so long and so many years as an entrepreneur, you can be so committed to your goal that you kind of forget about everything else around you, and you just so focused and so committed to, well, I got to get this money, that you can abandon just, just everyday things, yourself, not taking care of yourself like you supposed to. I've met a lot of entrepreneurs that I will not work with them because their hair's not done. Like, I don't want to collaborate with someone who doesn't want to invest in self-care. So for me, that's important. Not saying today you had a bad hair day, but like every day is a bad hair day. Every day is you don't take care of yourself. You're not eating right. You're not healthy, because at the end of the day, you can make millions and millions of dollars and your health be so bad that you're not going to be able to enjoy it later. So commitment, being committed to your goal, being committed to yourself, making sure that you take care of yourself, making sure that you're not spending all your money when it comes in, because a saver, I can give $10 to a saver, and a saver is going to save a portion of it. If I give $10 to a spender, the spender is going to spend the $10 in like what? A few hours, because that's the difference. Is your level of commitment in line to what you said that you were going to do? You know what? I've heard it all year. Coach Kellie, I get inboxes, emails. I want to get out of debt. And so I tell people all the time, send me over your credit report so I can see what level of commitment. And I'll watch that credit report over 3 to 6 months, and the same thing's on there. Nothing has changed. The amounts are all the same. And a lot of times uncommitted people, they are not trying. They want me to do stuff fast. They want me to help them to get a house or a car or whatever, and they want it done right away. They don't understand the power of delay and gratification. So being committed. So say, for instance, if you want to build your credit, I tell everybody, the first thing I want you to do is write down a budget. Figure out where all your money is going. Download the app, the mint.com app, so that you can see literally where your money is going, because these are all of the steps of successful leadership. A successful leader is not going to spend all of their money. A successful leader is going to make sure that they're connected, that they stay connected. A successful leader is going to make sure that they're creative, that they're using their creativity for the advancement of their business. So for me, I have employees. And so they don't work. I never say, well, I have people that work for me. I say that I have people that I work for them. I work for my employees, because if I'm not working, chances are at some point they're not going to eat either. So I have the same mentality. Yes, I'm the boss, but I have this opportunity to say that no one is going to outwork me. No one is going to outshine me in my organization. So I'm always alongside of my employees sweeping the floor, because I understand the exchange, that when you have a business and you have an organization, people are more interested in what they see you do than what they see you say. Saying is one thing, but doing is a whole nother story. And so having a mindset of a successful leader, nothing is above you. And then I hear people all the time say things like, that's not in my job description. Well, for me, even being a CEO and a boss of my company, there's times where I may have to clean the bathroom. Like, you can never be good for things like that. And I see it all the time. I see people say it all the time, I do what's in my job description. Well, buddy, you're never going to succeed that way. Just sticking to your job description is going to keep you in that job description. Leaders are considered based on their ability to go the extra mile. So are you going the extra mile, or are you like only doing your job description? Are you one of those people who only do what is exactly asked? Because that's what is defined in being, to stand apart, to stand aside. And so like Will Smith said, he said, so if my job says I need you to run a mile, he's going to run 3 miles. The reason why he's going to run 3 miles is because that's how he is so successful. It's because he's a believer of taking the extra mile. Look at Mayweather. Mayweather says most boxers, if they're training 3 days out of the week, he gonna train 5 days out of the week. And so that's what makes you successful, that I'm willing to do something that the other person will not do. For me, when it comes down to my customers, I make sure that once I ship something to my customer, I send them a message. Hey, did you receive your item? I hope you like your item. Send me a picture of your item. Because of that, a lot of people tell me, a lot of people don't send tracking numbers. Those are the things that I do within my company. And that's why my boutique has been open for 10 years now without seeing, a deficit in my growth and projections, because I'm constantly thinking, every 3 months, what can I do to make things better? Every 3 months, what can I do to make things different? And so if you've ever been in any of my businesses, if you come in my business and 3 months later you walk in my business, it's going to look different. It's going to be something new. It's going to be something better. And another thing that successful leaders do is that we have the courage to ask questions. We have the courage to ask surveys. We have the courage to ask our clients and our customers, what is it that we can do to make things better? If you are not doing surveys in your business, if you're not doing client feedback and things like that, you're going to eventually find yourself losing people. And it's very important to make sure that one of the characteristics, the next characteristic is we're talking about courage. Having the courage to say no. I know for me that all money isn't good money. Although some would say, well, all money is good money. Well, if the money that someone gives me, I had a customer who, every time she came into my business, there was a problem. So I was like, you know what, I did what I could do. And I think she just was, for whatever reason, she was one of those people who will always start conflicts. She was one of those people that nothing was ever enough. And so I refer her to someone else. I says, well, maybe let me refer you to someone else. Because to me, having a headache is not important to me. Like, yeah, if I have to make $1 and at the end of the day I don't feel good about it, then I'm not going to do it. I make sure that my intentions are good, because I've been there, I've done that. I never do something just for the sake of money, because what happens is you slowly lose a part of yourself, a part of your dignity, a part of your character every time you do something that is against what you said you was going to do. And knowing, as a good leader, knowing what you won't do. And so for me, what I won't do is do half of a job and expect to get fully paid. I want to make sure that I do my job and do my job thoroughly. Whatever it is, whether I'm on a contract, whether it is that I'm going to, whatever it is that I'm going to do. Prime example, I was doing hair on a contract and out of town, and someone asked me to come and be a part of their team. And so it wasn't really so much about me, it was about that person. And so although I believe that I'm great, I believe that I could have shouted myself out instead of, they asked for my social media, but because the person, they put me on to that gig, I gave them their social media versus my social media, because that person put me on. So they gave me this amazing opportunity to work hand in hand with the Washington Redskins. So I wanted to make sure that I gave that person honor, that they was my plug. And a lot of times what happens is people will plug you into something, but then you get so, pumped up in your head that now it's all about you. And one thing about me, being in business for myself, I love collaborations. I don't believe in competition. I'd rather collaborate than compete any day of the week, because there's so much power in unity. And working together as a team, you can do so much more working together as a team than you can do by yourself, hands down. And so self-gratification is the, how can I say? Self-gratification is the enemy of success. Competition is the enemy of success. Trying to outdo someone, or like, oh well, I got more followers than you, and what I'm saying. And then I see it even in music, where you have people going against one another in music versus, look, let your talent speak for itself. Why should I have to belittle your business in order for my business to succeed? It doesn't really make any sense. And it really causes more conflict than it does putting more money into your pocket. It will affect your bottom line. Believe me, it will. And so we're going to take a break after this, and we'll continue right after this commercial.
Hello, everyone. It's your girl, Coach Kellie, from the Coach Kellie Speaks Talk Show. I'm here to talk about my brand new book, The 30-Day, 30-Minute Visionary Journal, Awakening the Finisher Within. I wrote this book because I wanted to inspire other people to be finishers in their own personal journey of business and everyday life. So writing this book has really helped me to organize my thoughts a lot better. And it has also just made me look at things different and not put so much pressure on myself, because before I would try to compile so much information in at one time, but now it has slowed my pace down a lot, and I'm able to really plan things out in a 30-day, in a 30-minute manner. And so I think that now, with different projects that I'm working on, I feel that I'm a little more confident in what it is that I'm doing because I've actually planned it out better. So I hope that people who get this book will have a deeper appreciation for, number one, who they are, what they've been called to, and the people group that they've been called to as well. I also want people to have a clear and step-by-step guide to how to fight against fear and procrastination. I hope that this book will help you to win in each and every level of your life, each and every area of your life. I want this book to change the way you see yourself. When you look yourself in the mirror, that you won't see yourself through the eyes of fear, but that you'll see yourself through the eyes of faith, knowing that you are a finisher and that you will finish each and every project that you put your hands on. I just wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you, gracias, because without you, I would not be able to do what I do, what I love every day, from styling my clients to the boutique, and now my new show, the Coach Kellie Speaks Talk Show. This has been an exciting journey for me. I'm inspired by each and every last one of your comments, how you share my posts, going on to YouTube, leaving comments, just all of that just warms my heart every time I read it. And so I wanted to just let you know that you can buy my book on my website at www.coachkelliespeaks.net. Thank you again for tuning in, and I love you guys so much. Thanks.
Wasn't that commercial amazing? One of the things that I love so much about just purpose and business is that, you have to invest in what it is that you do. Like, starting this show, I wanted to make sure I had commercials. And it's funny because even my first segment, I had a theme music and, just had all of that stuff ready because I wanted to present my best gift. I don't believe in half doing anything. Like, I'm not going to half do anything that I do. Whatever it is, it's going to be some glitz, it's going to be some glam, some sparkle. It's going to have something. It's going to have my authentic signature on whatever it is that I'm doing. It's like DJ Kellie. Like, whatever he do, he gonna say we the best. Like, that's his signature. That's something that no matter what it is, whatever is going on, you hear his logo or his piece or like his seal, that's him, and that's what he doing. So it's the same thing with understanding the retention of success. I teach people all the time how to make it, how to win, how to get a social media following, That's one of the things that I have an ebook that's coming next week, and it's all about social media. People have been asking me, how is it across my social media? I have over 14,000 followers. Very, very hard to do. You have to do a lot of interaction, making sure that you're able to connect with your audience, making sure that you have content, making sure that you're authentic, you're confident, and that people see it. Because it's like social media, it's like you have to have a presence. Like, people should know, like, when they meet you, that you're living the life you tweet about. Like, I'm never going to tweet about something that I'm not going to live it. I don't care how watching somebody else do it, I'm not going to do it. It's just not going to happen. So the next segment is understanding retention of success. So we talked about successful leadership, things that successful leaders do. They're creative, they're connected, they stay connected, they make sure that they go to trade shows, they make sure that they are doing community outreach. One thing about being a business owner, I believe that you become a community leader. You become a role model. You become someone that other people will look to, look up to, and making sure that you have consistency and making sure that you have the courage to win, the courage to beat the odds, the courage to just be able to understand that success is really not just so much defined in this one day, trip that everybody gets excited about. But it's understanding even the journey of success, the small victories, understanding how to celebrate the small victories. Okay, when I wrote my first book, because right now I'm on my fourth book, so understanding that when I got and developed my first book, the content, I was just excited that I finished it. Didn't know I would have to go through another month and a half of editing, another month of creating buzz, doing my social media page, getting on Amazon, didn't know all those things. So my first book, I was so excited. I didn't know what the book was going to do. I just knew that it was something that I wanted to do. It took me about a year and a half to complete the first book. Fast forward, my second book, I wrote that book in literally 30 days. Like, literally wrote the book. Like, I wrote it. It was liquid. It was fluid. And that book ended up being an Amazon best-selling business book for 2 weeks straight. And didn't even know, like, it was even going to do it. But that's why it's so important. When you get the idea, when you get the concept, you just got to do it. You can't wait around waiting on a whole bunch of people to feel it, understand it. And I find that a lot of times we have to rehearse our ideas to people. We got to bring it to our man, bring it to our friends, bring it to everybody, and try to, before we launch out on something, we got to let everybody anoint it. Like, oh yeah, I'm about to do whatever, and I need you to look at it, and then you call the other person, and depends on what they say, you won't launch it. So that's why for me, any project that I'm working on, I'll do 40 days. I may do 3 or 4 months of no social media, 3 or 4 months of no radio, no TV, just straight me in the paper. And that's how I know that it's authentic to me, because I don't want anything that I promote or that I produce tainted with somebody else's ideas, because it's not going to be authentic. And see, that's the difference. And I know for myself, my authenticity comes within myself. Like, it's me and God. And that's how I know. So I'm only saying that because understanding retention of success is the core of who you are. Because God will take you places that your character can't keep you. And your character is defined in those areas that no one can see. So you could sit there all day long and be fresh and shiny and clean when you show up. But what do your closet look like at home? If I open up your trunk right now, what does that look like? That's exactly who you are. And your character is defined by when you don't need people. How do you treat people that you don't need? That's who you really are. And so that's how, for me, when I'm looking at somebody or I'm looking to hire someone, I'm not looking at the first 30 days. I'm not looking at the first 30 days because the first 30 days, everybody's perfect on a job. But what happens? How do you perform when your supervisor isn't looking? How do you treat people when no one is looking around you? Because I could be nice to someone that I don't need, that I need. I could be nice to somebody that I'm trying to impress. But how do I treat people that I know already? How do I talk to my family? And in conflict, you get a chance to see yourself in a whole new light. So when people tell me, oh, I said that because I was mad, I don't believe it, because you are who you are in stressful situations. Stress has a way of showing you who people are. And if you pay attention long enough, you'll be able to see. That's what I say that is the precipice of understanding retention of success. Anybody can be popping when it's popping, but are you saving? That's the second thing that I wanted to talk about, and understanding retaining of success. Because I see it all the time. People are successful for 6 months. People, they splurging when it's tax season, but are you saving when it's not? Are you still able to keep your lifestyle when things aren't going in that manner? Authenticity, being who you are. Being who you are around around everybody. Are you one way around this group of friends, or are you the same around everybody? One of the things that I never like is when I'm around someone and they are one way, and then I see them again and they're around a group of people and they act a total different way. Who are you really? Who are you really? When no one's watching, who are you? And so authenticity is going to help you to retain success. Confidence, understanding who you are. That's the truest definition of retaining success. Like I said, I've been an entrepreneur my whole entire career. I've never worked for anyone ever. I've never had a full-time job other than self-employment. So it was very important for me to have confidence in knowing who I was, because even in the tough times when it may seem like, clients or customers may not be walking in the boutique, because I understand that I'm popping. Yeah, I'm still popping. And sometimes you have to tell yourself, because look at so many artists out here today. They're popping. It's just not it's not your time yet. And it doesn't mean that you're not popping. It just means that it's not your time. So understanding entrepreneurship over the last 18 years, I've understand that I've had ups and I've had downs. My goal was that I didn't flatline. That was the whole goal. Like, I can survive this storm. But one of the main reasons why so many businesses fail is because they do not have a savings plan in action. I would tell you, I remember one of my toughest storms I ever endured was I was pregnant with my son, and I was on bed rest for like 6 months to a year. It was very, very challenging. I ended up with all kinds of respiratory issues. Like it's like everything was just shutting down on me. And I never forget, like 2 years prior, I was saving like $100 a week. And just trying to, my goal was to save 100 times so that I could have at least $10,000. And so I'm so happy that I did it, because I didn't know that I was going to have to use that money, because when a storm is coming, you don't always know. Sometimes there's no evacuation plan in the storm. So sometimes a storm will just come at you and you don't even know that it's coming. So I'm happy and I thank God that I had the sense enough to understand self-investment. Without self-investment, you are not going to be able to retain success. Success and understanding the retention of success is to live below your means. One of the reasons why I'm so successful, I've been in my business for the last 10 years is and not be late once for my rent or my mortgage, is because I understood the understanding of self-investment. So I invest in myself. So every time I delay gratification, because I'm telling you, it's a lot of people that I know that's living far beyond their means, trying to impress people that don't like them and you don't like them. And so try not to get caught up, because when success comes, it's overwhelming, and you may think it's always going to be like that. Well, I hope that it's always like that, but there are seasons where things go down, and you want to make sure that you have enough to sustain even those tough spots, okay? And then the last part is really understanding self awareness, understanding where you are in every frame of your business, understanding your numbers, looking at your numbers, because numbers don't lie, understanding, having these projections. Like I said, I check in every single quarter. I go back to my vision board. I go back into my QuickBooks, and I'm looking like, okay, this is where I was 6 months ago. This is where I want to be 3 months. And having a plan of action. There's a lot of businesses and business owners that's walking around just kind of winging it, like just shooting, rolling the dice, hoping that you'll be successful. No, develop strategies and plans. And if you don't have them in place, you can go onto the Coach Kellie Speaks website. I have my Success Millionaire Mindset class. It's $199. I can show you how to make actual projections. I hear people all day long say, this year I'm going to make $1,000,000. Well, how? How are you going to make $1,000,000? How are you going to make it in a way that you can really project it? Because just working hard and working every day, you can work 7 days a week, but if you don't know your numbers, you cannot reach your targeted goal. So for me, it's funny because I looked a certain way for so many years, and I wanted to make sure that I had enough in my account before I started doing a lot of things. So, prime example, I had a young lady. I was telling her I wanted to, coach her or whatever, and I was like, she was like, oh, well, it just I just don't. I didn't know that you were that successful. And I was like, okay, well, but what she meant was she was looking for stuff. She was looking to see what it was that I had. And so I told her, I said, it's amazing to me. It's so many millionaires that you will never even know. Like, you won't even know they're millionaires. So I told her about a book that I read that inspired me, that I live to this day. It's called The Millionaire Next Door. Well, the average millionaire drives a Camry. The average millionaire lives in a house that's $250. The average millionaire goes to the mall once. The average millionaire reads 42 books a year. The average 9-to-5 worker reads 1 book a year. The average 9-to-5 worker drives a BMW. The average 9-to-5 worker lives in a $500,000 house. So it lets you know that living below your means is something to living below your means. And that is my key to success. That's how I've been able to sustain even the recession. A lot of people that I personally know who, during the time of the recession in 2008, businesses closed. They lost all their clients. And my business kept going because I had enough in my account to sustain almost 2 years of, I can't say famine, but it felt like it. And I was able to still, I was able to make those necessary adjustments to make it in my business, because I had some friends that was rolling up. I was in my Honda. I drove my Honda until the wheels rolled off, and I didn't feel no type of way. I didn't feel no type of hate or shame or nothing to pull up in my Honda, because I knew that my bank account was loaded, and I was comfortable with that. And I know so many people, even right now, that had business closed 5 years ago. So be intentional, understanding how to win in those different storms and seasons, understanding how successful people think, live, and they operate, and understanding. My last thing was understanding retention and success. And so I am done with that, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed it, because these are principles that I live by. Next week I will have a guest, but people have been asking me to do one show by myself and just teach some of my success tools. And so I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next Coach Kellie Speak show. Bye, everybody.